The cold did not fall from the sky. It rose from the ground, crawled into bones, and stayed there. The boy learned that before he learned how to read. Snow pressed against his bare ankles as the village gates slammed shut behind him. The sound echoed once, loud and final, then disappeared into the white silence. He stood there for several breaths, waiting for someone to call his name, to change their mind, to remember that he was still human. No one did. Inside the walls, fires burned. Bread baked. Children laughed. Outside, the boy hugged himself and tried not to cry because tears wasted warmth. And warmth was the only thing keeping him alive. His mother had died coughing blood into a rag that smelled of herbs and fear. His father had never returned from the king's war. The villagers had fed him at first, then avoided him, then finally decided he was a burden the winter could solve for them. Fate, the priest had said. Not meeting his eyes. The boy walked because stopping meant dying. Each step hurt. His stomach felt hollow, like something important had been stolen from it long ago. The wind cut through his thin clothes and whispered promises of rest. By the time the mountains rose before him, his legs trembled uncontrollably. Dark stone pierced the sky like broken teeth. Everyone said dragons lived there. Monsters. Killers. Curses made flesh. The boy hoped they were real. Monsters. At least, ended things quickly. He collapsed at the edge of a ravine, breath coming out in short, broken gasps. Snow gathered on his lashes. The world blurred. He welcomed the darkness. Then the earth groaned. It was not thunder, not an avalanche. It was a sound filled with pain, deep and ancient, vibrating through stone and bone alike. Heat brushed his face, shocking enough to wake him. He opened his eyes. Below him, half buried in ice and shadow, lay a dragon. It was massive, yet ruined. Once brilliant scales were cracked and dark, fire dulled to dying embers beneath them. A spear carved with glowing runes pierced its chest, pinning it to the stone. One wing lay twisted and torn, the membrane shredded like old cloth. The dragon breathed with effort. Each breath rattled, slow and wrong. The boy should have run. Instead, he slid down into the ravine, hands scraping stone, knees tearing open. Fear existed, but it felt small compared to the cold. Up close, the dragon smelled of smoke, blood, and something old and lonely. Its eye opened. Gold met gray. The dragon watched him, not with hunger, not with anger, but with surprise, as if it had not expected anyone to come at all. "I won't hurt you," the boy whispered, voice barely sound. He did not know why he said it. Maybe because no one had ever said it to him. The dragon did not answer with flame. Snow thickened. The boy's teeth chattered violently now. His vision swam. Without thinking, he pressed himself against the dragon's side. Warmth flooded him. The dragon shifted slightly, a pained sound rumbling in its chest, then lowered its ruined wing over the boy. Heat wrapped around him, steady and gentle, like an embrace remembered from another life. The boy cried then, quietly, because he was warm, because he was alive, because something enormous and terrifying had chosen not to kill him. They slept together in the ravine. At dawn, horns echoed through the mountains. Dogs barked. Steel Called. The dragon knew those sounds. Hunters had chased it for weeks after it refused to burn a city for the king. When the dragon spared the people, the king called it treason. Knights with blessed steel followed. The spear in its chest was forged for betrayal. The dragon stirred and nudged the boy awake. "They're coming," the boy said, panic rushing into his voice. "Yes," the dragon replied inside his mind, its thoughts heavy and slow. "For me, they'll kill you." "They already have," the dragon said gently. The boy shook his head. "I won't leave you." The dragon looked at him, really looked. at the bruises shaped like adult hands, at ribs visible beneath skin, at eyes too old for such a small face. "You must," the dragon said. "You still belong to tomorrow." The horns were closer now. The dragon lowered its head and pressed its brow to the boy's forehead. Heat surged, not burning, but awakening. The boy screamed as ancient fire poured into his veins, carving runes into his soul. "Live," the dragon whispered. "Remember us." The boy ran back behind him. The mountain shook. Fire roared one final time. Steel screamed. Then silence fell. Vast and heavy Dot, the boy collapsed miles away and did not move for hours. Years passed. The boy grew in the wilds, guided by dreams filled with wings and fire. Cold no longer owned him. Hunger never fully defeated him. Fire came when he needed it. Small and obedient Dot, he learned truths the kingdom buried. Dragons were not tyrants. They were keepers, bound by ancient oaths to protect life. Even from humanity's fear and greed, the kingdom prospered on stolen dragonfire. War engines marched. Villages burned anyway. The boy became a man. When soldiers came to burn the forests, they found him standing alone in the snow. They laughed, and the sky answered. Fire rose, not to destroy, but to reveal. Steel melted. Lies burned away. The truth stood tall, wrapped in human flesh and dragon soul. When it ended, the man knelt where the dragon had fallen long ago. "I lived," he whispered. Warm wind wrapped around him like a wing, and the world finally learned what warmth truly meant.